Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another discussion topic Q&A video leading up to the second half of The Walking Dead Season 6. First question for this one, going to lead off with, who will be Rick's future love interest? And this one kind of contains spoilers. I'm going to try to dance around it, but basically, yeah, we'll keep this mostly spoiler-free. If you guys missed my video, I did do a video right after the mid-season finale for Season 6's first half, and kind of talk about some spoilers and some deaths that are going to be upcoming in the second half that have been spoiled for everybody and kind of ruined, which are going to occur pretty soon in the second half of Season 6. So I'll dance around it. I'll be careful, but I will say that in the Walking Dead comic book series, we do see a relationship between Rick and Jessie, and it is an intimate relationship. After Rick kills Peter, we see Jessie kind of go to him or go after him, and they do sleep together. They are intimate together. They are in, obviously, a relationship, and he wants to protect her. He wants to take care of her, that kind of deal. In the comic book series, the television series version is not really the same, with regards to that. And unless we miss some kind of like a flashback sequence or something that they never showed us, as far as we can tell, they never were. We had a scene where Rick kind of talks to her, that kind of deal. But we never really, and we had the scenes from Season 5 where it seemed like Rick did care for her quite a bit and wanted to be with her. But of course, I guess they just got so busy with, of course, and then Peter was killed, right? And then Season 5 ends with Morgan showing up. Season 6 starts, and you've got kind of the monster movie feel to this humongous horde of zombies that come in. And that whole process takes place within a very short time frame. So unless we miss something, it looks like, Rick and Jessie never really, they didn't really have any kind of relationship, at least they haven't thus far. So if it's not going to be Jessie and Rick who are going to be together, then who would it be in the comic book series? Of course, in the television series. In the comic book series version, of course, Andrea and Rick, they get together, and eventually they actually do even get married. And Andrea takes over as Carl's stepmom, so to speak. Some of you who have never read the comic book series are probably like, "What, Andrea? What?" Yeah, I've got a figure version of her right there. There's her and there's Rick, and she's badass. She's basically Sasha in the TV series with her sniper skills takes over from Andrea from the comic book series version. So who would be Rick's, girl? Who's going to be, who will he marry in the future if they follow the same story as the comic book series? And that's a tough call. That's really, really hard to say because Sasha's taken over Andrea's role as kind of the sniper of the group, which I thought that was cool, finding out that Sonequa Martin-Green originally tried out for Michonne and didn't get it. I thought that was an interesting piece of knowledge right there. And then eventually they decided to use her as Sasha instead because she didn't get the role as Michonne, but they were impressed with her. So she takes over as kind of like that sniper-type role of the group, which is good to fill in some of the comic book series iconic moments that we're going to be seeing in the television series coming up eventually. But, she's got this thing with Abraham going, don't know what's going on there, and then who's left? Like, there's basically nobody in Rick's group that I can think of that is like a strong female aside from Michonne. And it seems more like with Michonne, because we talked about this before, there's people in the comments that are Michonne, that's what they call it. So I guess so. Chickies, they like to combine one name with the second and then put it together. It's a Twilight thing, team and that kind of thing. I don't know, it's weird. Anyway, but it seems like they're not going that route with, Rick and Michonne, that kind of deal. Plus, you do have Ezekiel, who will show up in the series eventually too, and it just doesn't seem like they're going that route. It seems more like Rick and Michonne are kind of best friends, but are not, will never be together, that kind of deal. So it's interesting, man. There's really nobody there. There's nobody else there I can think of that would be like a good replacement for the comic book series version of Andrea to be with Rick. And I can't see it with Sasha now that she could have something going with Abraham. It just wouldn't make sense later on, I don't think. It just wouldn't feel right, So weird, man, weird. So maybe they'll go the Daryl approach and they won't have Rick in any kind of relationship with anybody later on. But also, again, it would be kind of a shame because there's a lot of really iconic lines, some really good stuff that's coming up in the comic book series that I'd like to see in the TV series with, Rick if he has some kind of partner. So we'll have to see what happens with it. But right now I can only think that it'll probably be a new character that they introduce in the next couple seasons that they use for that, and that's something that I'm sure will be brought up in discussion when the writers are planning out season 7, season 8, and season 9. So we'll see what they do with it. Write your comments below, guys, on what you think they're going to do with Rick's love interest. I'd say safe bet, probably most likely, that they'll probably just create a new female character for Rick and for the group to join with, so to speak. So yeah, let's get into a few more of your guys' questions. Let's just do a couple more for today because I'm a bit pressed for time. So the next one is from Andy Guadalupe, and he says, do you think next season, season 7, we'll get to see a Negan episode like Morgan, Daryl, Beth, etc.? Let me know your thoughts. Love the channel. Keep up the great work. So from AG. That's a good question. So if we would see, like in season 7, like a flashback episode with Negan, man, I would love to see that because we got to see that with the governor. And I think you're right. I think that's pretty likely that they would include an episode like that where you get to see kind of how Negan becomes Negan, or a little bit of his backstory, similar to what we got with Morgan, or even just some stuff that was with the governor, where we got to see like a whole governor episode before his group interacted with Rick's group, before Woodbury and the prison group crossed over. So I think that's a good observation, and I think that would make for a perfect episode. I'd also love to see it. That'd be cool. So great question there, Andy. Next one, somebody asked, I didn't get the name. They said, Trev, will you ever get tired of The Walking Dead? No, I don't think so. Not at this point. No, I mean, I've been, reading the comic book series now for like 7 years, something like that, 7 or 8 years. And then, making YouTube videos and watching the TV series now for, 6 seasons since it started. I started doing my reviews. I actually did my first Walking Dead comic book series review before the television series had aired. So that was like 5 or 6 years ago. So no, I don't think so. It's kind of the same thing as Dragon Ball. Like people used to tell me, when you grow up, you're going to get tired of Dragon Ball. You're going to get tired of this stuff. I still haven't. I still collect Dragon Ball. This one was just released like last month. That's why I'm showing this, because I picked this up. And I just don't think so, man. I don't think I ever will. But that's me. That's my personality. Everybody's different. Some people, when they grow up, they don't like to watch cartoons anymore. I love cartoons. I still watch cartoons. I love it. I love the Avengers cartoon is good, and Batman the Animated Series is always awesome. Dragon Ball Super awesome. I love anime. Just never happened to me. I always just love what I love. Walking Dead is untouchable to me. It's my favorite series ever, so I don't think I'll ever get tired of it, no. Next question is from djsutty, and he says, hey Trev, do you still watch UFC? And the answer to that one is yes. However, I can't watch them live anymore because I work Saturdays, and the main events, they always show on Saturdays, so I can't really do video. Plus, the UFC doesn't like people doing videos on their stuff. They get mad about it and that kind of deal, so yeah, that's why I don't really do it anymore. And this last question will be from Tyreese Williams. He's got a picture of Tyreese in his thing. He says, hey Trev, in a recent Q&A you talked about how Sonequa Martin-Green initially auditioned for the role of Michonne, but did not get it, and the same thing happened to Norman Reedus, who auditioned for Merle and didn't get it, and they created Daryl. And Ethan Embry Carter, did you know that Ross Marquand, who plays Aaron, initially auditioned to play Gareth, but did not get the part and was instead cast as Aaron? I didn't know that. That's cool. If that's true, I haven't seen that anywhere else. I'm just taking your word for it, dude. Could you imagine Ross Marquand playing Gareth? That would have been funny. But I certainly like him better as Aaron, because Aaron's a likable character and Gareth, well, he isn't. So that's funny. It's really cool. Andrew J. West played Gareth, and he was on some kind of like behind the scenes show I was watching or something. He was supposed to play. He was playing. Yeah, there was something I watched with him in it, and he was in. Andrew J. West, who played Gareth, he was also in Under the Dome, and he was horrible. It's terrible. Not his fault. Under the Dome's the problem. It's not him. His character was just awful. And then he says, I find that funny, as I wouldn't be able to see Ross playing Gareth, but does a terrific job at playing Aaron. Love your videos, man. I'm sure he'd probably be good at it, but he's got the kind of face to me that seems more like a good guy. Some guys, they have the look, like Jack Nicholson has the look for a bad guy. He does not have a good guy look. And it depends. Some people, they play better good guys. Some people play better bad guys. David Morse, he's someone who can do both. I've seen him do both in different shows, and he's amazing. So he can do both. But there's certain people, certain actors that seem to be better fit for one side versus the other. And there's a few that can do. Any of them could do both, but some just seem to fit one way or the other better. Anyway, if you guys like the video, you can thumb it up below for today's. Send me your questions for another Q&A again soon. You can share, you can favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe, you can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for today's Q&A. I'll see you guys again real soon. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace.